Then I'm back, just, you know.
Sounds good. Morning, Dana. I'm assuming you're still setting up, just making sure you are good to go here.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can. There we go. Do you want to try your screen out too, since it's just us right now?
Yeah.
Lynn, can you set her up as a co-host? It'll be her and Michael co-host right away this morning.
Janelle, can you see me?
I cannot see you, Dana. You are a black screen.
This happened at the plant meeting too. So I have my video on.
Is your little slider closed?
That's on the you have a laptop, Dana?
Yep.
Not to sound foolish, but you know what the slider is that we're talking about, right?
Nope.
Okay.
So it's like where your camera is on the top of the screen.
Oh yeah.
It actually slides. There you go. It's not
We see you.
it's very common. It's not
I
like
think
it's
I must have hit it or something. And
yeah.
Yep, no worries, no worries. So we see you. Let's have you do a screen share just to make sure we're really. Yep, we see your Zoom screen. The meeting, yep.
so let's just make sure you see it.
Yep, looks perfect.
Okay.
So Janelle, just Dana and Michael need to be co-hosts today. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, I'm running the slides for Michael though, so
Oh, okay.
because it wouldn't make sense to go in and out of the same slide deck.
Okay.
Right.
All right,
He-
Dana.
yeah,
So
so-
now you need to stop sharing your screen so I can take her back over.
I'm just gonna leave you as co-host, so you should be good to go.
Okay, back in business. All right, we're good. We know everything works. That's always a bonus. Thanks for getting on early, Dana, and just making sure.
Yep, that's why I'm here early.
Will you be happy when budget's over? You have done an amazing job. I mean, I am not blowing smoke up your butt. I've said things to you in like teams and that, but honestly, Dana, like congratulations from our perspective. This is the best year I've had in over a decade.
Well, thank you so much for that compliment. And I hope it's okay that I told Michael what you said because
Yeah,
I just wanted him to know we really worked our butts off to meet deadlines. And
you absolutely did. Like honestly, yeah.
You were short-staffed. I mean, you had,
yeah, I didn't
Sophie
even
out.
know. Honestly, like 2 months ago, I was having panic attacks about Sippy being out
Yeah.
and trying to figure this out with the brand new accountant.
Well, good job.
So we did it somehow. I did
We
have
are
to,
done.
I did do one desperate thing though. I don't know if I told you, Janelle, I talked to Jeff one night.
Oh, you did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I just can't understand this one piece of the financial model.
Nope,
Yeah,
that's okay.
so I just texted him, and anyway, that was the only hiccup we had.
I mean, honestly, congratulations, because yeah, I had my doubts, and not to say I doubted you guys, but with like no Jeff, no Shirley, no Sippy, I'm like, oh, please let budget go good.
I know, and also no budget database. We got rid of it.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know.
Oh, we got rid of it at the last moment because it would take Lori about Like last year, she probably spent 40 hours helping me with the budget database because it's so old and needs so much help, you know?
Wow,
So Sippy and I just decided to ditch it and we did everything in Excel.
wow. Well, and you know what? Honestly, James, I mean, he's new coming on and he did a great job too. I mean,
I know, I'm sure he's gonna be relieved too because he didn't know anything about our budget, you know? So
right.
he had a lot to figure out quickly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from our perspective, was really quite thrilled with how everything went. For us, you know, we're trying Teams out. Teams has got its challenges, Lynn and I found out. So it was good on the first half when people were contributing, but it was horrendous to say the least for the editing part. So we live and learn, but we tried something new.
Yeah, well, it definitely was better for us as directors and managers
Right.
commenting. But I could see how it would be hard to, because everyone makes a comment and you don't have no idea whose comment is the official one, right?
Well, yeah, and then you know, there's different challenges. Some of it's in guidance, some of it is in process. So when we think it's done, and then somebody goes back through and adds more comments when the deadline's passed, we're like, we're okay. Now there was 154 comments and now there's 170. Let's go see who added what. So there's some things like that, but good learning experience. We'll have after action review on it all. And honestly, yeah, it went really well. So, well, I see we're starting to have a bunch of people here. So hello, district fellow and co-workers. And I'm gonna stop yapping and we'll start letting other people in. So congratulations again, Dana. Nice job. Good morning, Michael.
Hi, I was just going to say hi. Good morning, Janelle. Because I know you're going to ask me.
Yes, yes. Thank you. You
I'm
sound
going to put my video on for a second here and see how I'm looking. Okay. I mean, yeah, good light. All right, I'm fine. Excellent.
Well, and speaking of which, Dana, I was going to tell you if you can close the blind behind you or make it, if there's a curtain over it or anything to make it a little darker, that'd be good too. You had the halo effect going on a bit ago.
Well, that's not such a bad thing, is it?
Well, she is angelic, right?
Is that helpful? Or these blinds are opaque, and I can probably get some. Let me run to the supply room. I know how I can fix this a little bit.
Yours isn't quite as bad, honestly. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit, but it's not horrible.
Michael, I think yours looks fine.
Okay. what's also worked is for some meetings, if maybe Dana needs some foam core from the engineering file room, and some of those big sheets are really helpful to block out. Because I know Dana's office faces right into the sun, so.
Eric Rare, I should sound check you. I kind of forgot about the welcome in the beginning here. Let's just make sure your audio is good.
I was waiting for you, Janelle.
You sound good, so thank you.
Thank you.
Todd, I'm going to sound check you just for any reason. If there's questions this early on for budget, and I'll sound check Bill next. Can you
Sure.
just, yep, I can hear you great.
Got me? All right.
Thank you. And Mr. Walker, can you just do a quick sound check too, just in case?
Here's a quick sound check. I haven't set up my mic though, so I'll sound a little echoey for a minute.
Okay, thank you. Morning, Commissioner Foster.
Morning, no.
Good morning, Paul.
There we go. Good morning, Janelle. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good, thank you.
Morning, Janelle. Janelle, can you hear me?
Morning, everybody.
Good morning. I can hear both Thomases.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, you're so lucky.
Good morning, Janelle. Can you hear me?
Commissioner Bookland, this is Amanda, just stepping in for Janelle quick. I'm not sure if she's having audio issues, but yes, we can hear you. Thank you for checking.
Great, thank you.
Amanda, this is Brad Murphy.
Good morning, Commissioner Murphy. Thank you.
My video is not working at the moment, so you may not be able to see my smiling face this morning, but I'll work on it.
Oh, that's too bad, but thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, you bet.
Amanda, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Morning, Janelle. Ezra here. Just wanted to let you know I am on by phone, waiting for my computer to catch up to actually be on Zoom. Should be momentarily.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioner Meyer.
Okay, it's 8 a.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to all of our guests. I see we have at least one Judd Law, and maybe that's it who's attending. Well, welcome. Janelle, would you like to go through the virtual meeting guidance?
Certainly. Good morning, Commissioners, members of the public, and staff. To help us have a smooth meeting, I'm going to review just a few decorum rules for everyone. Number 1, please ensure your mic is muted unless you are speaking. Number 2, please state your name before speaking. Number 3, in general, please have your cameras on if possible if you are speaking. You may turn your cameras off if you're experiencing technological challenges. And number 4, as a reminder, the public chat has been disabled, but you can still send messages to the host if need be, and the meeting is being recorded and streamed live on YouTube. So let's have a great meeting and welcome everyone.
Thank you, Janelle. Michael, do we have any announcements?
President Hubble, I don't have any announcements this morning.
Okay, well then that takes us to E. under item 1, which is the welcome of Matthew Rodenkirk, maintenance technician.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Eric Ware. I'm the Maintenance and Reliability Manager here at the district. And I'm happy to reintroduce you to Matt Rodenkirk, this time in a permanent role here at the district. Matt originally joined our facilities maintenance group in June of this summer as a summer worker. Over the summer, he applied for the lubrication technician position and was hired full-time into the mechanical maintenance department beginning on September 6th. Matt grew up in Sun Prairie and graduated from Sun Prairie High School, where he competed in cross country. He studied at UW Stout for a year and a half in computer networking and information technology. Matt is also an Army reservist in the engineering corps as a heavy equipment operator. Matt's interests outside of work include cars, computers, shooting sports, and cycling. He did do competition cycling for 2 years with the goal of going professional, but at this time is not competing. So the mechanical maintenance department is very happy to have Matt working with us in this critical role. And please join me in welcoming Matt and congratulating him on his new role. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Eric. Welcome, Matt, to your new role as in the lubrication area. Okay, appearances by the public. Do we have anybody from the public that wishes to make an appearance? And I don't see any hands raised, so that we'll move on to the consent calendar, where we have a number of items. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting, August 26th. Approval of the cash statement, capital projects. Review and approval of a couple sanitary sewer extensions. Award of contract for temporary assistance with land application site approvals for MetroGrow. Review of bids and award of contract for grit screening hauling from 2022 to 2024. And review of bids and award purchase of 2021 scum ejector compressed air upgrades. Do we have any questions before we move on to a motion to approve the consent calendar or to act on the consent calendar?
I had one question. It's Ezra here.
Go ahead, Ezra.
I just wanted to clarify with Marty, or maybe Michael can help on this, the biosolid site evaluation or site preparation contractor. I was left a little bit unclear whether it's $60,000 a month or $60,000 not to exceed for the totality of that contract. I just wanted clarification. I'm hoping and thinking it's $60,000 total, but again, left a little bit unsure reading through it.
That is, that's the total cost for what we expect to be just one season as we try to recruit for the vacancy that we have.
Everything else about that makes sense, and that helps a lot. Thanks, Michael.
Okay,
Tom, this is Sarah. I just want to abstain from voting on the minutes from the past meeting because I wasn't present for our last meeting.
Okay, so when we act on the consent calendar, then minutes could note that Sarah abstained on 3A. Why don't we do this? Why don't we vote on the minutes 3A and then we'll vote on everything else. So do we have a motion to approve item 3A of the consent calendar?
Wilson, I'll move that.
And Bookland, I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Bookland. All those in favor of approving the minutes of 8/26, say aye.
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 And we'll note that Sarah, Commissioner Estrich did not act or vote on that. And then we have items 3B through 3F. Do we have a motion?
I'll move approval of the rest of the consent calendar. Commissioner Meyer.
Okay, Commissioner Meyer.
Commissioner Eskridge will second.
And a second by Commissioner Eskridge. All those in favor of items 3B through F on the consent calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? None, motion carries. Okay, that will take us to Michael. You're going to give a presentation on the 2022 operating capital project and debt service budgets.
Thank you, President Hubble. Dana Burmaster, the budget manager, and I will be tag teaming this presentation. What I would like to do is start by providing some background and context on the budget, because there's a lot in the budget that is related to past decisions the commission has made. And also it gives us a view as we move forward, how this budget fits into the next 6 years. And then Dana will walk you through the details of the proposed budget. We are in the midst of tackling a $1 billion challenge. And these types of large challenges are really nothing new for the district. High spending periods have occurred throughout our history. The difference this time around, we have less federal funding. The limits are harder to achieve through traditional means. However, we have more tools at our disposal to address these challenges. And commissioners, you're well aware of the key drivers. We discuss these on a regular basis. Aging infrastructure. We've had a good path forward on our collection system for many, many years, but we're starting to tackle some of the major components of the treatment plant that you've seen through the collection system or the liquid processing improvements and what we're going to be proposing as part of this next 6-year CIP. Regulatory and compliance around our discharge and continuing to extend capacity related improvements to accommodate growth according to the growth projections. Those are things that we've always had going, but we're also experiencing more challenges with climate change. In the last 10 years alone, the district has experienced 4 of the highest peak flow events in our 80-year history. And that challenges our ability to do our job. Our treatment plant and collection system likes a steady state. It doesn't like huge peaks and flows. And we've experienced some major flow events in just our recent past. Over the last 10 years or so, we've invested $140 million in critical infrastructure to new pumping station and force main improvements. That we added a brand new pumping station in the city of Winona, pumping station 18, and a force main to provide critical redundant infrastructure. We fully implemented the collection system facilities plan that Todd Giebert prepared way back in 2012 and was accepted by the commission and has been built into our budgets since that time. We built a LEED Platinum maintenance facility, and then we're in the midst of implementing liquid processing improvements where we just recently replaced our UV disinfection system that was replacing a system that was built in the 80s and was the largest and one of the first UV disinfection systems in the country. We have also incorporated into our discharge permit adaptive strategies that have avoided $640 million in new treatment plant infrastructure. Yahara Winds alone through watershed adaptive management has saved the district $140 million upgrade to the treatment plant, and our chloride minimization plan and source reduction efforts have reduced or eliminated the need for a membrane filtration and desalination that would have cost the district $500,000 to tackle and meet our permit compliance. Because of this good work, our revenue requirements and service charge increases have remained stable and averaged 6.5% over this period of time over this last 10 years. And our pumping station 18 and force main which was installed in 2012 and 2013, became a critical piece of infrastructure as we confronted the 2018 storm event, where plant flows reached an all-time high. And so the work that the commission has been doing and the investments that have been made have been put to the test and are working. So we're making big progress towards this $1 billion challenge. But there is much left to do. And actually, history has told us there will always be more to do. And that is the nature of our industry. So as we look ahead to 2012 and the next 6 years, you received a presentation from Bill Walker and Todd Giebert for the 6-year capital improvement plan, where we expect to invest another $210 million in critical infrastructure. And the main drivers for that will be adding capacity and rehabilitating our collection system, which is around 100 million, replacing plant infrastructure about $40 million, and building in resilience into all of these facilities, including offline power, energy in our facilities, and redundant pipeline infrastructure. What's going to be new and what you've heard for the first presentation on our heat and power improvements is we're starting to plan for $50 million of investment in our heat and power systems at the treatment plant, which is aging and is at the end of its useful life. We know we have to comply with permit limits for phosphorus at our Badger Mill Creek outfall, which if we move towards a treatment option is $20 million. And we also, on outside of our 6-year horizon, know there are other things coming, such as what regulations will be confronted with PFAS. We know with the Commission's acceptance of the biosolids management plan that there will be other major investments coming in the 6 to 7 year planning horizon. With all of that said, we are forecasting total service charge increases of up to 9% per year in this planning period between 2023 and 2027. And I want to emphasize that this is a planning level estimate. And we adjusted the number down from what you heard from Bill in the summer of 10%, because as we move forward, we continue to adjust and refine our figures, and we'll always be doing that. In this period also, our reliance on debt will be reduced from 94% debt funded infrastructure in 2022 to 71% in 2027. So we're making progress. Some of that is using actual cash from service charges revenue. Some of that is from increased connection charges, which the Commission has improved a ramp up to that. So that's how we're investing in that. I wanted to just, before I turn it over to Dana, just want to emphasize that our budget increases are driven by capital, and our capital plans include critical infrastructure that is absolutely necessary. It is not a wish list. It is not I know other governments sometimes put a list of nice to haves, or it would be great if we could do's. Our projects that are in the CIP go through a very rigorous business case process of evaluating the risk of a project. We look at the null alternative and what is the risk of doing nothing. And we also look at alternatives, including adaptive alternatives, before we propose projects, which are the most cost-effective option in the plan. So the things you see in the budget are necessary. We can probably move them around and move them out a year or 2 years, but it would have virtually no impact on our long-term financing and on service charges. So with that, what I'd like to do is just turn it over to Dana to present what 2022 looks like. So take it away, Dana.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, hold on, let's see, there we go. I also wanted to just mention that, and I know we've mentioned this in past years, but that we do every year for the last 9 years have received the Government Finance Officers Association Award for our budget presentation and our budget document that you'll see later today. It will be on the website at 4 p.m. today. So first I wanted to start with something I'm really excited about, and I wanted to share with you what we've been working on the last 2 years and our plan for the next couple years going out. And that is, we've really looked at how we do budget development at the district. What can we do better? What can we do less of? And we started about 1.5 years ago. We hired a consultant to help us map out our existing process, our as-is process. And then from that took the recommendations to look at what we can do in the future to improve our development process. And there's a lot we can do. And we've prioritized that list over the next couple of years. And so some of the changes are, we're taking a more strategic approach to budget development. I think in the years before I came to the district, I think the district did a really good job at developing the operating budget and publishing the budget document. But it was more of a technical process, at least on the budget and accounting side. So we provided really good numbers and got the budget developed and implemented, but we weren't really looking at it from a strategic level as much as we could be. So that's one of the changes that we've made. We're also making sure our expenditures align with the district's priorities, especially if it's a new expenditure, but all expenditures. And so we're requiring departments now to submit a request for new expenditures that includes justification, how they're going to measure success, what the impact is if they don't get the funding. It's a business case, essentially. And so that really helps us have a discussion, or for Michael especially, to have a discussion with the departments on any new expenditures. And I'll show you the new expenditures in a couple minutes here that we have in this budget. We're also focusing on 1-year goals. And what I mean by that is there's a new section in the budget document that I'll highlight later on too, that lists all of the department goals that are going to be completed this budget year. So the operating budget is of course a 1-year budget, unlike the capital budget. And we're focused on what can you do with your funding in this budget year. And so again, I'll show you a little bit more about that later. And then finally, we streamline a lot of processes on the back end. This is completely transparent to the public or to the commission, but it has saved time for our department directors and also for the budget and accounting team. So when we looked at what we were doing currently, we found tasks that weren't value added and that we could improve. And so that saved time for staff at the district during the budget process. So here's the bottom line. The 2022 operating budget is $48.2 million. That's 2.7 million more than the current budget year. The overall revenue increase will be 6% from 2021. But the largest revenue source is, of course, sewer service charges, and that will be a 6.6% increase in this proposed budget. So we're very sensitive when we're developing the budget as to what the impact on households will be. And this is an estimate at this point, but will be $259 on average per year, or about $1.90 more per month. As you know, actual charges are set by local communities based on their own costs and how they approach billing. So this is an estimate at this point, but it's our best guess. This shows the national trend for service charges. And you can see that for the last 15 years, it's been increasing over the rate of inflation. The projected value right now, and this is provided by NACWA, by the way, the projected value across the nation is $557. And then you'll see this $398 estimate, and that is the city of Madison's typical residential charge. So it's the district's cost plus what Madison would add to that. And so you can see we're still well below the national average, but we have been increasing as all regions have been. This gives you a picture of what makes up our expenditures. The largest piece is transfer to debt service, and that's at 16.2 million. And then the transfer to the capital projects fund, which Michael mentioned, is 3.5 million this year. That is 2 million more than 2021. That's about 40% of our expenditures. And then wastewater treatment is the second largest piece at 14.2 million. This shows you the revenue. As you know, sewer service charges is the biggest piece of the pie. That will be 46.3 million in this proposed budget. And then after that, septage treatment and servicing pumping stations are the much smaller pieces of the picture here. So these are the significant increases in this proposed budget. We have the increased support for capital projects, and the increase there is 2.5 million. And we're gradually moving more to cash financing and to do more projects. So this budget supports that by that cash transfer to capital. That transfer, by the way, is out of the 2022 budget and not our cash reserves. And then we have a significant increase in personnel and benefits. And I'll give you some examples of what's in that $650,000 number. There is a proposed 3% market adjustment for staff, as well as step and longevity increases for hourly employees and a mid-year performance increase for salaried employees, as well as our health insurance is going up by 9% this year. So that amount is in that number. Next, we have the O&M training program. And this is a new training program with 3 positions. And these are to address some pending retirements that we will have of high qualified electricians. This will create a way for us to, it will create a system for us to provide knowledge transfer and make sure that we have redundancy for these positions. But it's also an opportunity for us to build a workforce that reflects our communities. And so that's another benefit of the O&M training program. The 300,000 is the estimate for the positions and the benefits for those 3 staff members. 200,000 for equipment replacement, and these are for machine drivers that are at their end of life. And so this is really to prevent risk to the district, to get these replaced in 2022. And then the last 2 are software and IT projects, and the Metro Road database project is supporting the first step of the biosolids plan by improving data management. And then finally, budget software. I mentioned all the improvements we're making to the budget process at the district, and our current database is 20 plus years old, and we have identified some software that would help us better monitor our budget, provide dashboards for district staff, but also for stakeholders and the public on how we're doing on our budget, and also help us do better at forecasting, which we don't do a perfect job of on the operating side. Capital does a good job of that. So those are the expenditure increases that are included in this proposed budget. So that's where we are with the budget. It's a really good budget. It aligns with our priorities. It increases the investment in capital, and it keeps, as Michael said, it keeps our service charge rate increases stable at 6.6%. 2 more things I want to share with you. So when you look at the budget plan, it'll be on our website by 4 p.m. today. And here's some things I wanted to highlight in there. The summary of revenues and expenditures, that's the table that has everything, all the numbers. That's table 2. So I'd start there. I mentioned that we're now listing our 1-year goals for the budget, and those are on page 4 under district key initiatives. And they are divided by department, so you can see what each department has listed. And that's a really great addition, I think, to this 2022 budget plan. All the details on the operating budget start on page 18. That will look similar to previous years. And then finally, if you want to review individual department budgets, that starts on page 59. And so you can see increases or decreases on those individual departments, and as well as what the departments have done in the last year and what their goals are for the next year. What's next? So the public hearing is in 2 weeks, and then after that will be commission deliberation and discussion, and October 28th is when the commission would review and adopt the budget. So that's our path moving forward. We do have to have note letters to our owner communities by November 1st on what the new rates will be. So that's
Okay.
all I had.
Thank
We're
you,
happy
Dana.
to take questions.
Yep. Anybody have any questions?
Dana, this is Sarah. You had on one of the past slides 2% in, I think you used the term something like unavoidable expenditures. Could you just say a little bit more about uncontrollable expenditures? Thank you. Kind of how you bucketed those expenditures, the definition of that, a little bit more about that.
Yes, good question. So how we define that in the budget and accounting world is salaries, benefits, supplies, and things like energy. So those are mostly or all in the administration piece of the operating budget.
Great. That was really helpful. Thank you.
Anyone else? I don't see any hands up. Dan, I had a question. You had talked about early on that the average rate increase is going to be 6.5%, but the budget or there's something else that was 6%. And so is the server or something with the service charges, are they covering more? 6.6% service charges, but the overall, it goes up 6%. So are there other revenues? Are there other revenues, even though they're a minor part, are they staying, are they actually decreasing rather than increasing?
Yes, there are. So there are 9 different revenue sources. And so, yeah, some are decreasing. Some are staying the same. So sewer service charges has
to pick up the.
Yes, yeah. Has to pick up.
Yeah. And why are they decreasing? Is it because the costs are decreasing? I mean,
well, yeah, so there's various reasons for the ones that are decreasing. I'd be happy to get that information to you.
Okay.
Or I can bring it back for one of the next meetings.
Yeah. I just want to make sure, we do a lot of sewer service or lift station work and other work for other municipalities, and that we also accept wastewater from outside the district and things like that, that we ought to be making sure that we're covering our full cost. And that includes all of our insurance, pay adjustments and everything like that is properly broken out. So that the district customers are not subsidizing that type of issue. So.
Yeah, the two that are decreasing the most are interest.
Oh, yeah.
That's down by 75%.
Okay.
And septic disposal revenue.
Okay.
Also, but I can provide more detail to the commission.
So are people more land spreading to this? So that would if it's decreasing, then we must not be getting as much wastewater from septic tanks.
That would be my assumption, but I would have to rely on on Bill Walker's team to explain that more.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like that. We could see. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Hi, Tom, this is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
I did have a question about the O&M training. Dana, could you just go over what's included in that program? It's a $300,000 increase for 2022. And I thought I heard you mention that there are new positions included in the program.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just hit that one more time for me, if you could.
Yes, so the O&M training program is 3 new positions. And so the 300,000 increase that you see is the cost of salaries and benefits that we've estimated for those 3 positions.
And what are the positions again?
Oh, I don't remember. I have to look it up.
I thought I heard you say that there were going to be some electrician retirement.
Yes, I can help. I can jump in here. This is something we've been working really closely with Eric Dundee on, and one of them would be completely focused on electrical apprentice, because the apprentice program takes about 2 years to move from an apprentice to a journey level, and we have a few of our journey level electricians that are in their retirement horizon. So we want to hire a journey or an apprentice level. The other 2 are what we're building is a 2-year training program where we work with organizations to bring people into this organization that have high aptitude and attitude, and bring diversity into our organization. And they progress through a 2-year program to build skills and abilities. So when new vacancies exist, and they always exist, we have them, that they would be prepared and skilled to move into those training level, move into those full-time positions. One of the challenges we always have when someone retires or gets promoted, we have so many promotions within our organization, which create vacancies, that many times it takes us months to hire those vacancies, which slows down our work. And so this training program is to have people ready to go, and we're building, the diversity of our organization from the ground up through this program.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? I don't see any hands or hear anybody. Okay, well, thank you very much, Dana and Michael. That will move us to item 5, the CED update.
This is unusual, Commissioner Hubble, but I don't have any reports this week. But I do want to put a reminder out there that we're approaching our first in-person meeting in over 1.5 years, and it would be good for the commission to address whether we should be transitioning back to that in-person meeting in October, given what's happening with the pandemic and the Dane County orders around health and safety. And my recommendation has been that we should really hold off on going back to in-person meetings. But maybe what I will do is maybe put that on for some discussion at our next meeting, if that's okay.
We talked about tying it to the Dane County mask mandate, and last I saw that it extended to, I think it was October 8th. So I suspect sometime, just before that, they'll make the decision. So, but we can talk about it more at the next meeting, and because I think by the time they make the decision, if they extend it, would be too late probably be wise to have a few weeks notice, rather than just wait till October 7th. They extend it for another month. So I think we should talk about that at the next meeting. Yeah. Okay. That will take us to the regulatory and legal report. Paul, there you are.
Morning, everybody. I kind of like Michael, it's been kind of a quiet period. I not only managed to get the regulatory review down to 1 page, but there really aren't any, thanks, Tom. I really don't have any updates. That said, there's a lot of stuff in progress. There's stuff on PFAS, and anti-DEG is set to get going. And there's a number of things in process. It's just that I think, when we look at this last month of August, there just wasn't a lot there. As an aside, since I don't have too much on the regulatory front to report, I just want to note that our team at Stafford, not just those of us like Vanessa and myself that deal on the regulatory side, but our other attorneys that deal with human relations and contracts and government issues, had the opportunity for a plant tour yesterday. And while I have obviously seen the facility many times, it was really good to get the whole group out to see it and appreciate it.
Hold it, Michael, you let that many attorneys in the place at one time?
We were outside. So not to
Oh,
worry.
that's okay then.
Yeah, we were very COVID compliant. But while the plant tour was, most of the things that I had already seen or experienced, I was again reminded how well the district does plant tours. And so once the COVID restrictions are released and we can do that again, what a wonderful opportunity. And I had many of the attorneys in my group comment about not only the knowledge that was shared during this, but the commitment to, public health and the environment and the planning and the thought that goes into that and the district's mission, both in terms of providing effective wastewater treatment for the programs outside the fence and for fiscal responsibility, all came through loud and clear. So it was really, I just want to give a hats off to the Emily Jones and the team that did that, because they really do a nice job, and it was very helpful for the rest of my team as well. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Any questions for Paul? Okay, we'll move on then to a future meeting schedule. That's in the packet. Future agenda topics. We'll have the discussion of in-person meetings for October on the next agenda. And any other business? And Tom?
I'll move we adjourn, please.
Motion by Commissioner Wilson.
I'll second it, Murphy.
Second by Commissioner Murphy to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.
Another
Thank
fine
you.
meeting.
Have a good day. Weather looks nice.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.